We all show our ass.
We are live here in the lab here this morning with John Anderson, Keith Bilous, and C. Marty Fitting. Yeah, I had some technical challenges this morning, and I'm just telling you, Nation, that I listen. We had some issues yesterday. I sat down at my desk at 6:45 Central Time, ready to go, was talking to Marty, and then literally at 1 minute before the show happens, the internet went out. So we are adjusting on the fly, but that is okay. We are here to bring you some fun this morning. So good morning. We are here for part 2 of Mornings in the Lab. Myself, Keith Bilous, C. Marty Fit, John Anderson. Let
me ask you a quick question, bro. Did I hear this right? You two come back here 15, 20 minutes before the show and bullshit, and you don't invite me? What's up, man?
No,
I'm the odd man out here. You're look at Marty's face. I love it. That was just straight shock effect right there. I was just waiting to see some reactions.
No, actually, I wanted to make sure I was here this morning early because of my experience yesterday, Anderson. So I was like, all right, I went up for my walk this morning. I sat down here and I was all ready to go. And then I ran upstairs to get my coffee. I got your text, and then I just logged in to say hi to Marty. And literally I said hi to Marty. Everything went black. I was like, what the WTF? So, no, we are good. We are good. We are good. Happy to be here this morning, everybody. And you know what, John, I said to Marty yesterday, we had a quick little chat. I said, today's going to be a good show to talk about, as an entrepreneur, John and Marty, not every day goes golden. Like yesterday, my day was right. So we can take yesterday's experience, John and Marty, and talk about it this morning. So, but listen, let's get to everybody hanging out in the room over there, gentlemen, because we know, Marty, we know, John, that the future's here. Good morning, Enzo.
What's up, Enzo?
What's going on, my man? So because Enzo's so good with the keys, we know we have a flurry of activity in front of us here on our text here. So yes, only you at the morning. Oh, boys, Marty, Johnny.
Yo.
I want to call somebody out. Marty, I'm going to speak cryptically with you because Johnny, I'll speak with you later about this, but we have a friend on the show right now, Sarvina, who was unfortunately unable to join us yesterday, Marty and John. However, I got to get this queued up here. I received a little bit of news yesterday, Marty, Johnny, about Sarvina. I'm not going to talk about it on the air. I'm going to talk about it with my friends off the air. But I'm just going to say this to Marty and John, Sarvina. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you, Marty and John, that you guys are going to be equally happy and excited when I share some stuff later with you guys. But Sarvina, girl, I am happy for you. Lauren dropped some exciting news from me yesterday, and I just wanted to call you because I know you weren't here yesterday.
She moving?
No, but just Marty, excitement, man. Like Sarvina's life is going to be awesome, dude.
That's what's
beautiful.
It is beautiful, and I want to be respectful of her news, but I also wanted to just publicly call it out because Nation, we like to celebrate others here, right? And I know that Sarvina has some awesome news happening in her world, and I just wanted to call it out and celebrate her. So, boys, wanted to share that with you. Yes, happy to see you here. And Enzo, I know that you'll be happy to hear this news from Sarvina as well. Boys, Samir is on the show. Enzo, Marty, John, Sarvina. I met Samir in Lamu, Kenya a couple of summers ago. And John, him and his family changed my life. I was fortunate to spend some time. It is. Yeah, I met this family out in Lamu, Kenya. And John, I was telling Marty this before. There's no cars in Lamu, only donkeys. It's an island of like 500 people, and the only way you get around is with donkeys, man.
That's cool as hell.
It is really cool. Yeah,
that's super cool.
I really would love to get you guys there. So good morning, Samir. And yes, Enzo, thank you for the comments.
Enzo just called you out.
He just called. I got to call my cable cup. Marty, Johnny, I was waiting for Maurice to send me a text because the text would have been this. Is your internet out? No, Maurice, not obvious at all. Oh,
hey, at least he's checking.
Yeah, this is true. And we got some big smiles from Sarvina this morning. So, guys, that makes me extremely happy here this morning. So,
look at that comment on the vertical stream.
I'm seeing that. Yeah, we got we got Zain joining us from Pakistan. Good morning, Zain. That is awesome. Welcome here from Pakistan. Marty, Johnny, have we had somebody from Pakistan before? Live?
First time
For everything. John, do you know anybody in Pakistan? You've been there before, John?
You know, at one point we had a couple of VAs from Pakistan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's acceptable.
I mean, it's cool when you can give, someone like an opportunity like that. And for us,
yes,
it's nothing, but for them, it changes their life. I love that.
Yes. Yeah. Good morning, Roman from Australia. It's 10 o'clock at night. Yes. So Keith and Marty have learned when we started the show that mornings in the lab is actually evenings in Australia. Hey, Marty. So that's what seems to happen with us. So today, guys, we're going to continue the conversation from yesterday. I had a technical issue with some challenges yesterday. We're going to get into part 2 of my story. Going to get into the Business Athlete Manifesto. This week is going to be about us, Nation. Friday, we have a guest. Today, we're going to talk a little more about me and my story, the manifesto. Tomorrow, we're going to peel the onion back on Mr. Anderson. Now, I know we had Johnny here on the 19th on Friday, and we talked, about discipline and habits, but I really want to get, and I had John on my show live in the lab a few months ago.
It's not what we want to hear. We want to hear John's story.
That's exactly it. So we're going to put John on stage on tomorrow. We're going to talk about John's wrestling career, John's bodybuilding career, John's powerlifting career. We want to know where he's traveled around the world. So we're going to dig into that further conversation.
When we do that, sorry to interrupt, we got to talk about some stuff that's really going to be helpful. Like, I'll be totally honest. I mean, I battled with a few pain pill addictions going through that period of my life. And so anybody that's having trouble with that, I'm happy to peel back the curtain there. I'm in the beginning of my journey, as I've talked about, I was a little dense. I was a little under, I was late to the party when it came to hitting puberty. So I had all sorts of things that people can relate to in my journey that will help them with theirs. And that's, of course, I'll talk about whatever, but I always find that stuff is really helpful.
Oh, yeah. No, we want to get it. So, John, as long as you're comfortable getting behind the curtain on that, I think we would love to talk about that and educate people, because I'm sure people might be curious about some of those challenges that happened on the, like I myself, I really am eager to get behind the curtain with you, pal. So, and I know that as I've gotten to know you, you have been extremely vulnerable with me, and I'm pretty confident that you're going to be more than comfortable getting confident with Nation here. So, we're gonna peel back the onion on John's story tomorrow. We're gonna get to know Marty a little more on Thursday. We're gonna dig more into conversation with Marty, put Marty on stage, and learn about his D1 career and what brings him where he is today. And then Friday we have a guest. I think her name's Verani, Marty, joining us on Friday, and she will be joining us all the way from Maryland as well, just down the road from Marty here. So, we got Samir coming with some comments, of course. Enzo, North America, Africa, Asia, Oceania. Yes, 2 more to go. Well, Enzo, we could get Antarctica. I'm with Marty here. We got to get some folks from Antarctica. So if you're tuning.
Some of the people stationed out there might want to tune in. They might need a good word while they're doing their research out there.
Exactly. I got a couple of articles I'm going to throw on the table this morning for John and Marty to digest with me that I was reading this morning over coffee. I always like to do that. And there we go. Sarvina coming in with my neighbor country, Pakistan. My birthday's on August 14th. Pakistan Independence Day. Exceptional.
Nice.
And then, of course, on the vertical stream, which I love doing all this year, we got Cody Hand popping in. Love changing lives and people who love to change us. Yes, Cody. We are all about that here on the show, just trying to do what we can to get people moving. And it's funny, yes. John and Marty, I dropped a short this morning that said the hook was I give up. And, what I gave up, and I won't get into the revealing details of the short, but I dropped it this morning. And then when Marty and John, when the show didn't go live at 7 o'clock Central Time, I'm like, oh, so people really think that I gave up. So it was a funny little clip I dropped. Nope. Yeah. Exactly.
Not happening.
George Floyd judges from Nigeria. Good to
I'm sorry.
Did I miss something? What was that, man? I love it when he leans back and leaves the camera. That means something was good, but I missed it altogether.
I think I missed it too, Anderson.
Don't worry about it.
Right on.
Go ahead, Anderson.
Well, it wasn't another inside joke that I wasn't brought up to speed with, because see, I'm the new man, I'm the new member of the gang here, so they're still giving me the whipping boy stuff. You see,
that's it. Oh, boys, we have somebody who's not liking our stuff, so let's call them out. So we're gonna put a so nation. If you have some kids watching the screen, Ragobine thinks that this is lame crap. Well, Ragobine, I have an offer for you. Change the channel. See you later. Cody Hand, I'll go to Antarctica to make it happen.
Oh, I got something for him, Keith. Hold on.
Strike 3, you're out.
Yeah,
Get him out of here.
Exactly.
Hold on. Does Marty have a button that I don't have? Did he just make that say strike 3, you're out? Marty, you have a button?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's my buttons, man? Come on. I need some buttons.
I'll get a button for you.
Give me a button, man.
I'll get a button for you. I got you.
we got to get an Anderson button here on the show, or Marty, or we got to buy. So Johnny, for your new studio, we got to buy you a stream deck so you can have your own buttons.
That actually is a good idea.
I need some buttons,
I think so.
man.
I think Marty and Keith are going to pool our money together. Yeah,
I need some buttons. I need some
I'm
buttons.
scared to give Anderson the buttons. I'm scared.
I wonder what Anderson's going to use, what buttons he's going to put on there. That's what I want to know.
He's going to be pushing buttons all morning. Good morning, Chin. I'd like to see you here in the lab this morning. Enjoy, Chief Floyd, George Floyd. Am I Chief Keith? Yes, I am Chief Keith. That's exactly who I am. I'm the Chief Keith here in the lab here this morning. What else we got here on the horizontal? No, nothing. So we got Enzo coming up here. So listen, gentlemen, Marty, I know that you have, and Johnny, men sit all day, and I found something this morning that I think, John, I'm going to lean into you to help us with this, and Marty, I know you as well. But Marty, you and I have talked about hip stretches. We talked about tight hips. We talked about being stuck and men sitting all the time. Yeah, right. So I found something this morning, gents. I wanted to throw on the table the 10 best hip stretches for men and women who sit all day. Now, John, I know that you're a pretty active fellow, and we're the same age. How do you manage your tight hips and your bodybuilder? How do you manage your tight legs and tight hips, John Anderson? What do you do?
This is a great one. Because everyone's like, oh my God, I need to stretch. I need this. I'm so tight. Let's stop. The stretching is helpful. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's really a Band-Aid. The reason you're tight is because the way you live your life is very limited with motion. If you were living your life when you're moving, let's just say that you made a habit of going out and climbing a tree for 20 minutes every day, you would have no more stretching issues because you'd have to put your body in all these weird positions and your shit would loosen up. So yes, you can stretch if you're tight, but really what you got to do, that's just a Band-Aid. What you got to do is you got to start looking at, okay, my hips are tight because I never pick anything up off the ground. All right. There's all these movements or positions you never get into, which that's the problem. So stretches is a way to get some relief, but start looking at your day. Okay, what do I need to do? Perfect example. For me, if I do a handful of burpees, doesn't even have to be every day, that bottom position will open up your hips massively. But you can't do a couple burpees a month. You got to have some regularity. If you do some burpees, and burpees terrible. It's not like I like them, but they're great for keeping me mobile. Like perfect example, I'm in a deep chair. If I'm up with my burpees, I can literally just stand up. It's not like I'm looking for something to push my way up because my hips are loose and I can engage those muscles and stand up without a problem. If I'm not doing my burpees or the activities I need, I'm like an old man trying to get out of a damn chair. So think of it like that. Yes, the stretching is going to help you right now, but the long-term solution is to start moving your body in positions that will keep it loose. That's the real big picture ticket.
Yes. I get you. And I got some hip stretches to do here at home. Hey, Woo. I don't know. So I saw your comment here in the feed here, Woo, and I don't know if that's necessarily. I think you're mistaken here. So we got some friends in Nigeria and around the world that all have different names. So no, we're not trying to make fun or laughter about anything inappropriate here. So if you saw that in his appropriate comment, I think you should tune into the show a little more often and recognize that we got friends all over the world, all with different names all over the world. So the fact that we are having some fun with our friends around the world, I apologize if you thought that was indecent, but actually,
I wasn't laughing at that.
No, there's actually more going on. Woo, behind the scenes. And I invite you, and I hear you comment, and no, definitely nothing inappropriate about that at all. We're actually having some fun with some friends around the world here because as Enzo said, we are very fortunate that we have folks from all over the planet tuning into the show with names like Samir and George and Cody and Ragabine and so forth. So I apologize if you were mistaken with that comment here, but continue your conversation with hip stretches. Johnny, sitting cross-legged, I know as a 7,800-year-old man, when I sit, I'm really proud that I can still sit cross-legged. Do I take that motion for granted, John?
I would think there's
like, can a
they're 50 plus. I'm going to say the 50 plus age bracket are not sitting with their legs crossed with any level of comfort, and that's another perfect example. Yeah. The fact that let's just say that you made a practice of sitting cross-legged and doing 5 burpees a day, it'd take you a couple of minutes. Your hips would loosen up so fast because it's just just a little bit of an everyday repetitive series of motions, if you will, or positions is a better way to put it. You get into these positions, your muscles are forced to loosen up, and you do it every day or every other day. And next thing you know, you have no more hip issues in terms of being tight. That makes sense? It's people.
It absolutely does.
People get way too over the top, like, stretching can be really complex. Well, I totally get it. So many different angles, so many different muscles. We want to dumb it down for our audience. So let's not overcomplicate this. How's this? If you're having trouble with your hips, do 5 burpees a day at any time of the day. By the end of the week, you will notice a massive difference. Probably by day 3, you'll notice a massive difference in how your hips feel. Then you want to add in some key specialty stuff and sit cross-legged. That's going to take you to a whole new level.
But I call that out, my friend, because I'll sometimes go to the hockey rink and watch my son play hockey, John, and I'll sit up in the stands cross-legged with my back up against like the wall there, and I look around and I think to myself, I'm maybe looking somewhat bizarre, but I find it very comforting, and I have worked hard to open my hips up to do that. And we've talked before, but John, just putting on my socks and I know that it's still rudimentary things, Anderson and Marty, but man, it's a life changer when you can do those simple things. And I know, John, you're a big fan of simplicity. So just sitting and crossing your legs is huge, isn't it?
100%. It's a position that you normally don't get into. So when you get into that position a few times a week, it's going to open up your hips. But I can so see this. You're sitting in a hockey ring where people are drinking beer and waiting for the next fight, and there you are sitting there cross-legged, looking like some miniature version of Buddha. They're like, what is going on with this dude?
They're like, he
made the wrong
stop,
man. He came to the wrong place. What's he doing? Is he
not
figuring
belong
it out yet?
What's funny, because Carter, my son, said to me one day, he's like, Dad, you look like a Buddha guy sitting up there.
I can believe it.
And so Johnny, I'm not the tallest guy. As Marty knows, I'm not the tallest. So you see the little man sitting up in the stands with his legs crossed. I'm like, yeah, there's a little Buddha guy sitting up in the stands watching hockey. Anderson, how tall are you, by the way?
I'm a little under 6 feet. A couple of back surgeries and lifting. I used to claim 6 feet. I was right there, but a back surgery and lifting a lot of heavy shit. I'm not even close to that anymore.
Are you confirming then? Oh man, we're recording this, so I think Marty, John's gonna wreck my day now. So are you confirming me that as we age, we actually get shorter? Because I'm trying to tell my fit kids in my family that I'm still 5'7", John. But every time they stand next to me, I'm actually not 5'7" anymore.
100%. We get a little shorter just through compression. But here's the thing: what really wrecks people as they get older is their posture, because they end up doing this stuff. You have too much time on the computer, and next thing you know, you got these people that are walking around like this, and their back has got this goofy hunch. Their head is here, but they got this thing way back there, and it's like that right there will take a couple inches out of you. So posture is key. Not to mention they've proven now that the proper posture will literally, like if you stand up tall, chin up, put your hands on your hips, it's actually proven to release more testosterone in your bloodstream. Bam, just like that. Because it's more of a, that's the fight or flight thing, So flight, meaning you're getting ready to run from a saber-tooth tiger, man. Your brain is dumping all sorts of cortisol and stress hormones in you to get ready to run. Well, if you're standing up, hands on hip, chin up, that's like a more of a fight position, and your body will basically increase its. I can't remember the exact study. I can't remember the school, but it was a very reputable college that did this. I want to say it was like, one that you heard, you're like, holy shit, we got to believe that. So your position, your your posture, better way to put it, is very important.
Yeah, no kidding. No, so it's funny because I don't want to believe that I'm shrinking, John and Marty, but I know that when I stood next to Marty a couple weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, I guess I am a shrinking little man with my shrinking vertebrae along the way. Hey, Lukian, can we flash you? Oh yeah. No.
That's crazy.
Is he saying flash?
Subscribe to the morning.
Is he saying flash like pull your pants down, flash?
Here, how about is this bad dad joke humor, John Anderson? Here's a flash. How's that? Is that a flash? Is there flashing people? There we go.
Man.
You mean he wanted some butt cheek? Is that what he was looking for? Oh Lord.
That's awful.
So we know when Marty's not pressing the button, John, it's actually the worst dad joke. Marty's like, no, I can't even.
Oh, my bad.
I can't even delete it to the button he's saying because.
Throw that joke in the trash.
Oh, man. And we got a comment here from Kay's Confessions. Yes, muscle men. Men are shrinking because of their bad deeds over the years. Well, we may have had a few bad foods along the way. And yeah, that's exactly it. Oh, man. There you go. So listen, Nation, if you're tuning into the show right now, you're joining us from any of our various channels streaming out there, I invite you to take a look at the Mornings in the Lab channel. Click on subscribe. Subscribe, like, share with your friends. Just in case you get locked out of Anderson's channel or Marty's channel or any of the channel, come subscribe to the Mornings in the Lab channel. Go find us on Instagram, Threads. Speaking of Instagram, guys, did you guys see the announcement yesterday? Marty, John on Instagram? See what they're doing?
What happened yesterday?
Rolling out AI creators for everyone. So, Marty, you basically can create an AI version of yourself, and you'll be able to not be on Instagram anymore and just let your AI version of Chris Martin, see Marty Fit, just do everything for you. What do you think about that?
It's pretty cool.
Anderson, what do you think about that, man?
I'll tell you that I still am wrapping my brain around the AI and its capabilities. It's like, whoa, it's like right when I get to the point where, okay, I feel like I've kind of become one with where it is and where I am. Yes. Boom, it explodes again. I'm like, oh Jesus, here we go. Now I gotta digest this all over again. So it's moving faster than my computer. It's the speeds of my computer and AI are not compatible.
That's exceptional. That's exceptional. Kay's Confession. Yes, thank you for that. We try to bring the great energy here. Good morning, Kay. I appreciate you jumping in. Please subscribe to the channel and know that we drop here, unless the internet goes out, 8 o'clock Eastern time, Monday to Friday. We are here to help you get your ass out of bed and get your ass moving throughout the day and help you be accountable, big goals, help you teach you guys a little bit about business stuff, fitness stuff, lifestyle, AI, and so forth. And we've been chatting a little bit about helping keep your hips, your legs, your lower body, relaxed.
I wanted to throw something in about the hips too.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, I'm not done with this, so please come at it.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, before you start your workout, before I start my workout, I always warm up my hips. So I always do like a dynamic stretch, and I always throw some hip movements in there. Like I'm not sure if you know, like the invisible hurdle, or you can use a physical hurdle too. I always do those walking, and then I do like the standing pigeon stretch. So I do a lot of dynamic stretches too to open my hips up. So like if I'm doing squats, I get deeper range. Same with if I'm doing RDLs or something like that. So that helps range of motion with hips too.
It's been a game changer since I took some interest about 4 years ago. Like I said, I just kind of jumped into the Peloton boys and said, okay, I'm going to learn yoga. And Kay from Los Angeles, good morning here again. I appreciate you joining us. It is early for you. You're on the John Anderson alarm clock, so we appreciate you joining us here this morning.
Thanks for joining, Kay.
That is awesome. That is awesome. But I'll tell you guys, I embraced yoga, John, about 4 years ago, and as a bodybuilder muscle guy, it was somewhat weird for me to embrace it. But I got to tell you, man, it was a game changer for me. Right, like opening my hips and putting my socks on and doing pigeon and doing fire hydrants and just focusing on opening my hips. And like I said, doing the very basic movements, Marty, John, like even just crawling, right? And I think that we don't talk enough with our elderly folks, like my parents and so forth, about the power of crawling. It's okay to crawl, and if you can still crawl when you're 70, 80, that there's something magnificent about that, isn't there, John?
Yeah, I as you sit here and talk about this this yoga and how it's been so helpful. To break it down like this, everyone.
Yeah.
Is that yoga is basically, let's call it an hour. It's basically an hour of putting you in positions that you normally don't go into, which then creates that flexibility. So if you can incorporate your own cutthroat yoga throughout the day, so to speak, 5 burpees is getting you in. Think of yoga as getting you in positions you normally don't get into. So if you can do that on your own, then just moving through life, you're going to save that time that you normally spend to just stretch or yoga. So just for those of you that are busy and have a hard time, with taking the first step of going to that yoga class, just take these little bites, like when you go to pick something off the ground, you see something's down there, get down there and hang out for a few seconds. You'll feel stuff kind of pulling, and that's stretching. The difference is that you're just starting to move through your life in positions you don't get into, and this is going to cure your problem. It's that simple.
I can't believe, Anderson, that you used the word bites this morning a few times, because literally during my coffee this morning, I have another article I'm going to bring up which talks about exercise bites to help you get through your day, little chunks of things to do. And I love that you said when you're picking up something on the floor, like, dude, these little nuggets, nation, listen to what I'm going to say, because if you didn't pick up what Anderson hit, if you're going to pick up something from the floor, like, hang out for 3 or 4 more seconds.
Yeah.
And if you do that, multiple times throughout the day, you're actually touching your toes and you're not even thinking about it, right, John? And you're having these little bite-sized movements are helping you through, your life when you're not even thinking about it. It's like taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Same kind of concept, isn't it? So, we got Enzo popping in here. Yeah. I can barely sit cross-legged. And Enzo, yes, Johnny is 6 foot. What's going on with the chat? Enzo, the chat is busy today. Marty, I think we might have to employ Enzo as our chat master. Maybe Enzo's got to join the show there, and we can let him be our chat master and help him jump in with us, because he's quick on the fingers, I can tell you. Sarvina throwing some smiles. Of course, resistant bands, yes. Oh, man, resistant bands have been a lifesaver for me in terms of sporting performance. Don't know your guys' opinions on them. Marty, opinions on resistance bands, my friend, as an athlete?
Depends which ones you're using. Like, I'm big on the resistance bands for hips.
Yeah.
You do the band walks, some adduction stuff. But, resistance bands, I prefer weights, like actual strength training, actual weight training, over the resistance bands. But you can still get some benefit from them. There's a lot of rehab and physical therapy things you can do with resistance bands, shoulder work, you can do some stuff for your knee. So I feel like it's necessary for things like that. But if your goal is strength and to get stronger, I feel like weights are superior. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Anderson, you got a purpose for resistance bands too yourself?
Oh, buddy, do I ever. So resistance bands, they have their place. And like Marty's saying, he talks about what the parts of the bands he likes. I look at bands from the biggest benefit band that I look at that I really, really think is massive is you can take a couple of these bands, you can put them in your travel bag, and you can get a hell of a workout wherever you are, a hotel room, a family member where there's no gym, within the reasonable distance. So the band is just one more way that you can basically keep up your activity, keep up your workout, keep up whatever, call it what you will. That band will give you the ability to, do bicep curls. All you got to do is put the band under your feet. Boom. You take the band, you close it in the door. Now it's coming from behind you. You got your extensions. It's endless what you can do with them. All you got to do is mimic the stuff that you do in the gym, and you can do it in, hell, you could do it if you wanted to. It'll be a little weird, but hell, you could get a workout in a damn gas station bathroom. That's the size of a room you would need. I wouldn't, I definitely would not recommend that, especially putting that band on that terrible floor with all sorts of germs and whatnot. But you get my point.
Yes.
This band is highly, highly effective in places where you don't have what you want and what you need.
Yes.
Yeah, I can agree with that too. I take bands on vacation, so
yes,
they definitely serve their purpose. Yeah, but it's just not my number one choice. But they definitely have their purpose.
Totally.
It's funny, Marty. It's funny you say that, Marty, because I feel the same way about you, because I'm like, I got to get my lift with the big weights. But as I've aged, and here's actually a really good, like a generational thing, I think, in many ways, Marty. So I'd say 30s, 40s, all about the weights. But as I've aged into my 40s and learned about the power of resistance bands and learned about just maybe being a little more effective with my body, I've embraced the resistance band. So I would say that I've learned how to use them, and I've learned how to use them with my weights as well, like adding additional resistance, but focusing as much on the movement and putting the ego aside, hey, Anderson, and focusing more on the movement and the isolation. And that's totally been that's been a mind shift exercise for me, which is okay. I'm going to really focus on the isolated movement. Sometimes using resistance bands. Sarvina jumping in with ran for a 30-minute run this morning. Good for you, Sarvina. That is exceptional.
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome. John and Marty, after my crappy morning yesterday, I went for a 10K run yesterday. I was like, I got to go for a run, so I did a run. And we all know that Keith hates running, so that was an exceptional accomplishment for me. Man. Enzo coming in with 100%. Yes, we'll get you here as the chat master here in the lab here. As we continue to go through some of the comments here, we got Kay stuck in traffic in California. Yes, so Kay, go and hang out in traffic and hang out with us on the show. That's great.
No, perfect. that's not what she meant.
What does she mean?
I don't think that's what she meant, Keith. Like go play in traffic. Like she's saying to the trolls in the comments, go play in traffic. Like go do something else. Like go play in traffic. Yeah.
Oh, I missed that too. I missed it too. It must be
that's why I'm here. That's why you got the young guy here to help you out.
Well,
my God.
I love the idea that people are in traffic listening to us, because that's what this shit's all about.
Yes.
Is to motivate people to have that best day they can. And what better to do in traffic than to fill your mind with a lot of positive concepts.
That's it. Coming up in a few moments, Jimmy, the accountability check, and we're just having some fun here conversing about lower body movements, hip loosening up, and just chatting with folks in the feed here, which is fantastic. Tyler, dude, you getting into Satanism? I think you may want to look over the left shoulder and get out of the Satanism and go explore some positivity in your life. And Tyler, if you have a toxic household, my suggestion is get a new household. Imam, hello. What a podcast. Keith, John, and Marty. I'm going to add some friends in here. Very informative, entertaining. I dive into it every time it becomes live. Keep doing it and keep moving forward. Imam, thank you, man. That is exceptional.
Thank you for some positivity.
Yes, it. That is awesome. Love those comments coming through here as well. And what else we got here coming up here? Oh my God. Yeah, looking at some of these goofy comments on the side. Drake or Kendrick, we love them all here in the lab there, Steve. We love Drake and we love Kendrick. We don't take sides. We wear red underwear and blue shirts. Blue shirts, red underwear. We're all the same. We are here to make decisions on issues along the way here. So let's see here. What else we got here in the horizontal? Enzo coming in. No, there's no traffic at 2-3. Enzo, John, there's traffic in Cali all the time, isn't there?
Just about. I'll tell you. It's like it's hard to find a freeway that's not jammed full of cars. There's no question about it. Especially
Cali traffic is crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Crazy.
All right, so let me see here. I'm gonna get into where is my do. Gonna keep the conversation going here, guys. Jimmy, I'm looking for my accountability check-in here this morning, and we are going to get to that part here in a quick second here. We're talking exercise, snacking. We are talking, I just can't find the accountability check-in here, Jimmy. So we're going to just put that aside for a moment, and we are going to continue. So exercise, snacking. Here's something else, gentlemen. So keeping those loose hips. You want to age well, gents. And we know a lot of our audience here is our 25, 30-year-old men, some of the females dabbling in here, and you're all on your way to being old like myself and John. Well, if you want to age well, but you hate the gym, Anderson's been dropping nuggets on the show ever since he joined a few weeks ago. And he talks about snacking, like just doing these little things along the way. So when you're going to pick up something on the floor, hang out a little longer. But John, how about doing a few extra squats every time you get up from a bed or a chair? Talk about the power of adding 2 or 3 extra squats to your legs and your lower body as you get up from the chair or bed every single day.
I mean, 100%. I mean, just by doing something little like that, it's not only just doing a couple extra squats, but then as you get into it, you can actually drop to the bottom, like where you're really deep. And that's basically going to be a stretch. So as you not only just do a couple squats, you can actually start to feel your hips open up. You'll be able to get deeper into that squat. And a good deep squat is going to really, really open up those hips. It's all about, again, we'll use that word, these little bites. You take these little bites and you add them up throughout the day. Yes. And you got a plate full of bites. You got a whole lot of progress you just made. And it's not like you had to single out an hour of your day. It's just creating these little bite-sized habits that you start doing throughout your day, and you're going to have those hips that are opened up. You're going to have it's just habit building is all it is.
It really is. It really is. Marty, how about getting up from watching some television or sitting back on your phone and doing some lunges, doing it during a TV ad break? Like, think about the power of just walking up and down your hallway, doing a few lunges every single day. Comments on that, Marty?
Oh yeah, lunges are great, man. Those are one of the best lower body exercises. You're going to burn a lot of calories because you're working every muscle in your leg, and it's good for function, and it's good for range of motion as well. And like I mentioned before, like if you're a runner, you need to be lunging. You need to be working on your lunges. Yeah. It's a form of unilateral training. You can make sure both sides are equally as strong, because just naturally humans, we have an imbalance. One side is always stronger than the other. So lunges are great. So I definitely encourage doing that as often as you can. I hit lunges at least twice a week. So I think you should do the same.
It's awesome. It's legs day for me today. So I got 100 lunges waiting for me on the other side of the hour here that I'm looking forward to doing. Good times, good times. Yep. Johnny, how about this? Right now there's somebody making their coffee, John, or making their tea.
Yeah.
How about they did a few half squats while they're waiting for the kettle to boil or waiting for their coffee to be made? Talk about that, pal.
Brother, you just literally, are you in my mind? Because what I was literally going to say was, what you guys got to think about, we all have things that we do throughout the day, such as the example Keith just made, or such as brushing your teeth, that are just these little, couple of minute ordeals that you do. And most people are like, our worlds are moving so fast, they're so used to multitasking, like, well, shit, what am I going to do? I'll wait for the coffee. Or, God, I want to look at my phone when I'm brushing my teeth. Just literally habit stack. You make your coffee. You brush your teeth. Take 3 habits that are in your day that require just a couple of minutes, and stack some sort of a squat, some sort of a squat sit, some sort of anything that requires you getting into a position you don't normally do. Like the coffee pot, a couple of squats, a couple of burpees. And if you do this, you habit stack it, just that every day. That 2 minutes while the coffee's brewing, get into positions you don't normally get into. 1 week, you're going, what in the hell is going on here? And this is the beautiful thing about making progress in these little nooks in your life where it's not like now you don't have to worry about investing an hour a day towards something, to get yourself limbered up, when you could just fit this into your life.
Johnny, there's something you said a couple days ago which really stuck with me, which was, as a coach, as a leader, as somebody who's trying to mentor and help others, I like that you said it's not about forcing somebody, like hammering down on them and you gotta do. It's about teaching.
Yes.
Right. So saying to somebody right now, hey, if you're brushing your teeth right now, just do some calf raises. You do some calf raises where you brush your teeth every single morning, every single meeting. Man, those cumulative little things add up. And I know Marty and John, we always talk about the negative cumulative efforts of, a few grams of sugar every day. A few grams of sugar every day adds up. Imagine about doing a couple calf raises every day. And John, I got to be honest, man, since you've been on the show, I haven't thought much about these snack exercises, but now I think more about them every single day of my life. Like, I'm like, yeah, if I'm going to pick something up off the floor, I'm going to hang out for 2 more seconds. 2 more seconds over 30 days is a minute of doing of touching my toes. That I guarantee you, there's a lot of men listening to the show right now have not touched their toes in years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. And once you get that stiff, it only gets worse. It gets worse quick. Yes. So and if we want to be happy, healthy, older males, we have to get ourselves into positions that allow us to live life. Earlier when I said climb a tree, most adults you ask them to climb a tree, they would be like, I can't get my knee up high enough to get on that first branch. Well, that's what I'm talking about. doing things that force you to get into these weird positions is what we're missing in our lives.
And you know what else too? A lot of people don't realize the older you get, it's rapid. Like the decline, it becomes even more rapid as you get older. And so I was talking to someone the other day, and she's 32, and she fell off from the gym, and she was telling me she's struggling with lunges because I posted something about lunges, and she was like, yeah, I'm struggling. I say, you're 32 now. 40 is around the corner. You better get on it now. It's only going to get worse. So, but it definitely, you age faster, or you decline faster the more you neglect that stuff.
Very true. Very true.
I got to tell you, in your 50s, what you start to realize is there's this son of a bitch that seems to always be around. And the older you get, you basically just start to realize, okay, I got to fight with this son of a bitch. There's no two ways about it. And the older you get, the more of a badass he seems to become. So your job is to basically keep yourself moving in the right direction so you can defend yourself against Father Time, because that son of a bitch, he gets stronger and bigger, and he's more badass as the time goes forward. And if you start engaging and whooping his ass when you're 30, then you get into your 50s. See, Father Time's got nothing on me, because I've been aware. I've been aware of this fight since I was your age.
Since before I was born.
Oh man, there you go.
That's it.
We are hanging out this morning. Keith, Bilous, C. Marty, Fit, John Anderson. Mornings in the Lab, your only morning show to get you guys going. We start this show 8:00 Eastern time. We go for as long as we need to go. Our motive, our goal is to help you get your day started, to give you guys a little bit of positive information, positive tips, positive energy to help you guys get going. And at this point, I'm going to do this. It's time for John to step away to use the restroom so that Uncle Keith can do. Yep. There we go. I'm going to take Marty off the stage. I'm going to take John off the stage. And I'm going to talk to you guys about leadership. So, Nation, are you a leader? Are you somebody who leads a team, a group of individuals, maybe your family? Here's the thing. Leadership is not about doing it all. No. It's about focusing on your strengths and empowering those others around you to use theirs. That's what leadership is. So I invite you to identify your strengths, know those weaknesses that you have, and delegate them. Create those clear goals and trust your team. Make sure everyone, and I mean everyone, understands their roles, because leaders who focus on their strengths, they lead with clarity. So as you're sitting in your car here, stuck in traffic in Cali, think about those expectations you're going to set for your team. Encourage your team to own those tasks and free up the energy to make some better decisions. And along the way, I invite you to create a culture of excellence and respects. Remember, Business Athlete Nation, your goal as a leader, your goal is to guide. Your goal is not to control. Be that leader. Be the leader you aspire to be, or be the leader who you truly are. That's today's boom accountability check-in for all you leaders out there. All right, so we're going to keep the show going here. Where's my team? We got Marty jumping up here in the lab. Turn those tunes down. Bring them out of the house here. Wow, good show here this morning, guys. We're going to keep the chat going here. I'm going to continue our conversation into part 2 from yesterday's Keith story on how I took my company and sold it for a couple dollars along the way. And I know we had a little bit of technical issues yesterday. They weren't the end of the world, but we sorted them out. There's John back on the screen. Thank you. Shah Mojave, understand yourself. Yes, you are right. Know your role, play your role, and encourage and empower those around you to achieve their greatest success. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about leadership. So guys, I will tell you, as I was starting my company, continue our conversation from yesterday, the power of having exceptional leaders around you and empowering them. And I will tell you guys that as I was starting out my business and, in my 30s and 40s, I had to learn John, probably like yourself, how to learn how to be a leader, right? How to learn to delegate, how to learn not to do everything yourself. I'm going to share a little bit of my story about that. But John, let's kind of go back and forth for a few moments. As you were growing up, starting your businesses and bringing people around you, how did you learn how to lead? And I'm going to share my experiences as well.
Well, my challenge with leading came, because of, by the time I got into, that graduated college and I started my own business, doing that whole thing, I had really developed this, call it leadership, through just living a lifestyle most people would not. I was training. I just didn't miss with the things I was doing. So people looked at me like, okay, he says he's going to do it. He's going to do it, which that's a huge part of being a leader. So I had that thing that was people would follow. But what I had a hard time with was I just had a hard time with letting go. I wanted to hold on to everything myself and control everything. When I really became, started to get a good grip on leadership is when I started to say, okay, look, this person deserves to have this responsibility and delegate things and put people in a position to actually help the growth of the company. And so that was my biggest challenge as a leader. Once I got a grip on that, things really started to change.
Yeah, me too. I will tell you, me too. I learned in my journey that it was really about empowering the people around you and letting them fly, and then supporting them and supporting them as they were going to fall, because you knew they were going to fall. And I'll tell you, in Business Athlete Nation, any of my old colleagues that may or may not be tuning in right now, I know I made a lot of mistakes along the way. 100%. I can look you all in the eye in the camera and say I've made some mistakes. I don't know if sorry is the appropriate word, but yeah, maybe there were times along the way like I'm sorry that I did some of the things that I did. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but just in a way of you learn, right? You learn, you acknowledge, you go, okay, I would do this differently and I do that differently. And there's probably times, guys, as a leader who was a jerk, right? And I've had to learn as a leader how to be more empathetic, how to understand what your needs are, John Anderson, how to understand what your needs are, Christopher Martin, and then work within those needs. So those are some of the skills that I learned in starting my business. And I'll tell you, those are skills you learn on the job. Those are skills you learn while you're building the airplane, while you're flying. And, they're sometimes they're not enjoyable skills to learn, especially when you're failing at them. But man, once you surround yourself with a powerful team and you empower them, you just sit back and lead them. That's a real powerful thing to do.
Well, you know what was really the other thing I discovered once I started to give people more responsibility. Of course, mistakes happen. I thought, okay, now as a leader, I need to do a better job leading and help. So what I did was I create a system for everything. I have systems I work off with. People under me have systems. So here's the beautiful thing. Something goes wrong. If you follow the system, it's the system's fault. So nobody has to feel like, damn it, I screwed up. The system failed. So we fixed the system. So that way people don't ever have to come in and say, oh my God, goodness gracious, I don't know what happened, blah, 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 blah. Did you follow the system? If you follow the system, there's no issues. Let's just fix the system. And
yes,
so it
absolutely.
made people feel like if I follow the system, it takes me, I don't, then if the hammer drops, it's not on me, it's on the system. And that gave them the freedom to relax and really start digging in. And that was a massive, massive step forward with my leadership as well.
Yeah, I hear you. So, John, I'm going to try something because I'm having some troubles with your audio where I think I'm only catching. I'm getting some comments from Jimmy as well. I think we're only catching every few words from some of the things you're saying. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put you in the green room for a second on both streams and keep the audio conversation happening with Marty to see where maybe the challenge is happening, because I'm getting some feedback from Jimmy as well saying that we're having some challenges with some of your words coming out here. So I'm just going to put you off the hold for a second, maybe get you to refresh your browser and come back. But we're only catching every couple words here. So I'm going to do that here and going to do that here. And Marty, let's keep the dialogue going to see if we can eliminate that issue. So Marty, when you and I met and we've been talking about the lab and talking about, my journey in the past and some of the things that I've shared with you, what has jumped out to you from my story, or is there anything that I've shared with you that you want me to continue sharing with Nation about my journey building ICUC and some of those? Let's keep that dialogue going, pal.
Yeah, well, I have a question. I don't think you really ever really dove into this.
Yeah.
In any of our conversations. So with you coming up with the Business Athlete Performance Lab,
Yeah.
How did that play a factor when you were building ICUC? Were you into working out, or what type of workouts were you doing? Did it help you? Just expound on that a little bit.
That's a great question, Marty. Thank you. So when I was starting ICUC, I was literally burning the candle at both ends, like honest to God, right? Like it's true story. It was living on, and you're gonna get the button ready for this one. I'm gonna confess to you. Yeah. Dude, I was living on Diet Coke. Like, I mean 2 to 4 liters. Like 2 to 4 liters a day.
What?
Yeah. Like, dude, it was.
That's terrible, man.
I know. Like, I'm telling you, 2-4 liters a day. Like, it was not uncommon. So I was not a healthy soul. When I look back at some of my pictures of myself, starting ICUC, I was not the healthiest soul. I'm not going to lie to you there. I was caught up in the fun of it all as well. And what I mean by that, it was late nights, early mornings, meetings, restaurants. I was, enjoying the alcohol. I was not living the healthiest lifestyle, to be very frank with you. It was as I was engaging in selling the business, and I felt lost, Marty. I was going through some times in life. I was feeling lost. I was truly trying to discover who I was. And I wasn't 40 yet. I was 36, 37. The company was going up. It wasn't until I discovered Focus Fitness down the road here, where the Winnipeg Jets, the pro team trains, where I took you a couple weeks ago. Yeah. When I walked into that place, I didn't want to chase a commercial. So I'd always grew up going to the gym, Marty. I'd always lifted weights. I was, like Johnny. I was the short husky kid growing up, and I was always looking to outrace that. So I embraced the gym. Right. And John, I'm sure like you can relate opening those magazines growing up as a kid, right? I was the husky kid getting the sand kicked in my face on the beach, aspiring to get the girls and going, okay, I guess I got to go work out. And I'm aging myself, but that's the truth. So I was living a really unhealthy lifestyle, Marty. It wasn't until there's 2 pivotal moments in my life, I will say to you. It wasn't until I discovered focus and recognized, I said to AJ, train me like an athlete. Train me like an athlete. Don't train me like how I've always trained. I don't I love bodybuilding, but I don't want to be bodybuilder. I want to be an athlete, and it's nothing about bodybuilding. I wanted to do things a little differently. Like, train me like the Jets, train me like the hockey team. So he's like, okay. So I just took on this attitude of training like an athlete. And then Marty and John, as I met a bunch of business guys in this gym, executive leaders, I started talking to them. They're like, yeah, we want to be like the athletes in the gyms, like the hockey players. And then as I was meeting the pro hockey players, they're like, yeah, we want to be like you, the business guy. Right. And I found this confluence of the business guys wanted to be the athletes wanted to be the business guys. And it really, it lined itself up that I needed to maintain and live this lifestyle. And I embraced it. And then Marty, when I met Lauren, and we were talking about this last night, I've never eaten more. I've never been less restrictive of eating in my life and been more healthier because I struggled with that. I lived the life of yo-yo diets. I lived the life of up and down. I lived the life of John Anderson of bad habits. Right. So I've learned a whole new appreciation and understanding of food just through, my new relationship. Right. And encouraging me to eat, Johnny, for would eat for progress.
Fuel?
No,
purpose.
John had a purpose.
Oh, purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, eat for purpose instead of passion, right? So, and there's still days I struggle. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, and I haven't had the chocolate bar, but here's a good reason. Here's a good thing. Lauren's like, hey, I see you've opened the peanut butter jar again. Yeah, I'll have some peanut butter on toast, Marty. I'll have some peanut butter on bread, but I don't go and eat out of the jar anymore like I did in the past because I have those habits that I'm aware with, right? But I would say, Marty, it was me discovering this athletic business lifestyle that's worked out for me. That was a game changer for me and a game changer for my life. That happened in my late 30s, and I have not looked back ever since.
So I'm assuming that was part of the reason the business continued to grow, because you probably, took your business mindset there and took that mindset to the business.
Yes. And then I would say to you that I encouraged and I empowered that lifestyle inside of the house as well at ICUC. As a matter of fact, John, Marty and John, we launched a program with AJ called Making Lives Healthier. We rolled a program out inside of the house, which was encouraging and empowering all the team, because we were a remote business, Marty. We encouraged and empowered everybody to make that lifestyle part of their day, right? Like go to the gym.
That's amazing.
Go for a run. We always empowered walking meetings. You know, I was really, but I'm going to say this though, guys. I'm going to say this because I made some mistakes in that journey as well. I'm going to openly admit to this. I made some mistakes in that journey. The mistakes that I made with that is that I think that people took the impression from me, John and Marty, that you had to go and work out. You had to go and lift weights. You had to go and be strong. When in reality, what I was really trying to empower John and Marty was to live a healthy lifestyle. Yep. Go for a walk. Yeah. Go do some stretches. John, like you said, go pick up something off the floor and hang out for 4 more seconds. Right. So I know, guys, that some of my messaging in the past was wrong and probably did not feel it maybe came across as bullying when I think about it. Right. And that was not the intention, because the intention's always been, if you take care of yourself first, nothing else matters.
Yep.
Right. And people had to learn that from me, that they're like, yeah, I went for a run today. I don't feel very good. Okay, go take the rest of the day off, because I want you to be here a long time from now. Like, I want you to work here for a long time. And I know that if you're healthier, Anderson, you're going to be here for a long time. Right. Yeah. And I don't think our employers tell our people that enough. Right. No, and I know, Marty, when I've talked, even some people here in the lab that are working with us on our team, they're like, really? Like, go for a walk, get away? Like, yeah, just go take care of yourself. Because if you're not here right now, I want you here for a long time. Because if I'm going to keep investing my time in you as my employee or as my colleague, like, I'm investing in you. I want you here for a long time. That's important to me. Absolutely. Right. So I just don't think it's talked about it often enough. And I know I made mistakes, you know, as I was going through that journey, empowering my team to be fit, be active, and live a lifestyle that they could be empowered by. Marty,
I want to say that's big time, you know, not trying to get too off subject, but I covered this video on my podcast where a guy was, you know, mad at his employer because he works out before work, and they threw a random meeting on his schedule during his workout time. And he was basically saying, like, hey, like, I have to work out to be productive at work, to be my best self.
Yes.
You know, you guys are taking something sacred away, and the job didn't care. So that became like a big thing. So I'm going to give you some credit there and say, you know, I commend you for that. That's big time.
Because I think there's a way to embrace that, Marty. Go for a walk. Say, hey, man, I recognize that John wants to meet with me right now, but John, I generally train right now. Can I go for a walk? Can we do the call while I'm on the walk? Yeah, that's not a problem.
Yep.
Or let's do that, right? I will tell you guys, John, I haven't told you this before. Marty, I don't know if I've told you this before. One of the proudest moments of my life as a leader, gentlemen, was taking 2 of my colleagues to the top of Volcan Baru in Panama. It's the only mountain volcano in the world where you can see the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean at one time.
Whoa.
Really cool.
What's it called?
It's called Volcan Baru. It's in Panama.
Wow.
It's really cool. But John, I took 2 of my colleagues, my right hand and left hand, to the top. And you know what I did, pal? I conducted performance reviews on the way down.
There we go.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we achieved. So they both had never
using that time effectively, man.
Yeah. They both had never climbed a mountain before. So that was a check. It was a personal accomplishment of, oh my God, they climbed a mountain. And then B, it was like, we got to see something that very little people get to see, which is, you know, the Pacific. And then the third thing was, okay, let's do the performance review on the way down. So what a wonderful way to walk down the mountain with a colleague, have a really vulnerable human conversation after you've just achieved something really extraordinary. And then I got to tell you guys, the energy that came from that trip to move humans forward, that's powerful stuff that I just don't think we talk enough about. And I will tell you, that was one of my proudest moments as a leader, was taking folks to those kind of situations and empowering them to achieve something great, and then giving them a great performance review.
Absolutely.
That's cool. That's powerful, brother. Real powerful.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that we did you know, as I was growing the business there. But I think that's a good way for me to continue pivoting into perhaps the Business Athlete Manifesto. So, you know, as I was working my way through the back half of my career at ICUC, I started adopting and living this business athlete lifestyle. And I published my manifesto, gentlemen. I published it years ago while I was still running ICUC. And I remember one of my colleagues coming to me saying, wow, that's bold. I was like, what do you mean that's bold? What's bold of you as a leader to publish your beliefs and show the world that here's what I stand for, here's what I believe. I welcome you to be a part of it. So I'm going to share that with you guys. And this is where the lab really has come to life around these pillars, these principles. So the Business Athlete Manifesto starts with this. Number one is prioritizing wellness. So as a human being or as an employer, wellness is the absolute, and I know this is such, Johnny, you might think it's like Hulk Hogan's eat your Wheaties stuff. It is, but it's so important and basic that we get caught up as humans so often confusing and complicating things. That's one of the things I liked about you, John. You just simplify stuff. Just simplify things.
If just on that level, if I don't take the time that we're speaking of and I don't do what I do to make me whole, I can't. I shouldn't say I can't. I am not nearly as effective with the rest of my day and the different elements of my life. Yes. And so it's I explain to people, look, you brush your teeth every day so that you keep your teeth, or so you don't go into work and somebody's like, dude, tell this guy to get some mouthwash or something, because you can't bring that dirty smelling mouth into the workplace. Well, that's really understood. But what's not understood is you can't bring that, that sour, energy into the workplace, because you're all messed up because you haven't had the time to get yourself, physically, mentally, and spiritually grounded and balanced to go give the best version of you to the workplace, to the world. And it's like we understand some of the self-care, but we don't understand some of the other parts of it. Your employer is going to get pissed for bringing a dirty smelling mouth into the workplace, but people bring a dirty smelling attitude in the workplace all the time because they're not caring for the other parts of themselves, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, John, Marty, I think back to the obvious, because we have heard the stories time and time again from our elders, from experts, from people. Nobody ever says on their deathbed, oh, I wish I went to that meeting more often. Oh, I wish I didn't go for that workout so I can go to that meeting with my employer because my employer didn't want to go for me for a workout. No. So from my point of view, if that is something that we hear so many humans talking about in their last moments, going, man, I wish I would have spent more time on myself, or I wish I would have spent more time with my family, or I wish I would have spent more time touching my toes so that I could actually walk a little longer. Okay. Well, then let's make that the most important thing, right? So every single day, that's why I'm such an advocate. Every single day when you get your ass out of bed, the first thing you have to do is take care of yourself. Period.
Yes, my brother. And the people say, oh, it's selfish if you do this. It's selfish if you do that. Okay, let's write this. Let's put this in perspective. If you're going to the gym when your kids need help with homework, that's selfish. That's so different. Get your ass up before your kids and your wife are awake. Handle your business when nobody needs you. Then you're taking care of yourself, and it's not selfish. So it's only selfish because you choose to do it at a time when it's selfish.
That's good.
That's exceptional, good. John, because you know what? When you said, if your kid needs help with homework and somebody's like, well, you're selfish because you're going to the gym first. No, get up earlier.
Yes.
Like, you should be. I want my kids to want their dad to be selfish. Because if my kids think that dad's taking care of himself first, he's going to be around a long time to be a grandpa to their kids. So if my kids aren't thinking about their dad being, well, Dad, how come you didn't take care of yourself this morning? Oh, I didn't want to. Well, no, but Dad, you got to, man. No, but I don't want to. No, but Dad, I want you to be around to be a grandpa so you can take my kids tobogganing one day. Right. So I want my kids to look at me and be selfish for my own health. We don't talk about that enough.
I want to add one.
Go ahead, Marty.
I wanted to add this too, because a lot of people will say, oh, I don't understand why people get up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. to work out. And sometimes that's the only option because people have to be the dad or have to be the mom. So if you're, I truly think that if you're not getting yourself up early to make that sacrifice, you're ultimately being selfish towards your family because you're not giving them the best mom or dad or husband, wife, or whatever. So
yeah. Johnny,
our kids in the numbers change, but I know it's slightly greater than 75%. They are more likely to do the stuff that we are doing. So if you're a smoker, they're 75% more likely to be a smoker. But let's go to the other side. If you get up and take care of yourself before they wake up, there's a good chance it's 75% more likely they're going to choose to make those same type of choices in their lives. So you got to understand, kids don't listen. They don't give a shit what you say. They care what you do. So don't sit there and think that you telling them what to do is working. You got to do it. Period. End of story.
Yeah. Marty, John, you know who was my biggest advocate yesterday? Was Carter. Because Carter says to me, he's like, Dad, he goes, how many shifts do I play in a hockey game? I go, I don't know, 100. He goes, do I have a great shift every single time? I'm like, no. He says, what have you taught me? I says, move past the bad one and on to the next one. He says, Dad, how many shows do you do a week? I go, 5. He goes, how many do you do in a month? I go, 20. He's like, move past the bad one on to the next one. I'm like, oh, buddy. Like, just the reminder, right? Like, so my kids keep me accountable because I'm there, teaching them stuff. And it's like, Dad, like, put the bad show behind you and move on. Right. Yes. So
that's good, man.
It's solid stuff, man. Hoodlow popping in. Good morning, Michael from Florida. Good to see you, pal.
What's up, Hoodlow?
Good to see you, pal. We always love having you join the show. The ultimate CRM expert nation. If you are looking for the ultimate, Johnny, if you need some help with CRM, customer relationship management, I got the ultimate expert for you, Michael Hoodlow over there in Florida. I'll help you get your shat done, I will tell you. Good to see you, Hoodlow, in the feed. Blackhawk, yes, we are right. Get your ass out of bed and get going. And yes, last words, what tiger? Oh, that's good. So, hey, number 2, we talk about the Business Athlete Manifesto, guys. The second one, which I believe is important for us to keep moving forward. And if you're going to live in the lab, this is what you have to consider. You're always embracing curiosity and always embracing an adventurous mindset. Think about trying new things, running towards the fire, walking towards the edge and looking over. Be curious. Especially as we age, I cannot encourage you enough to be curious. I know what happens as we age, John. We tend to stick in things that we know, and we tend to perhaps not be curious. So I've learned as I've gotten older to strive to be curious, run towards things that I hate. But John, I'm looking at you because we're the same age. I've had to learn how to do that. And I'm talking to you because we need to teach our colleague Marty and all of our friends in our 30s and 40s that as you age, don't lose that curiosity, John Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to is what you're describing is so true. And as we get older, we tend to just, a perfect example, you get like my grandparents, they're deceased, but they lived this life that was literally the same every day. And more power to them, they'd kind of settled into this, but they weren't growing anymore because they new. And so as we age, and you call it curiosity, I just say get uncomfortable, because if you're uncomfortable, that's the thing that's going to make you grow. Now, curiosity is a great way to start getting uncomfortable. I'm curious about skydiving. Holy shit, that's going to scare the bejesus out of me. Well, good. Go jump out of the damn plane. Just remember to put on the parachute,
Oh, yeah.
Marty, I want to see John Anderson, the bodybuilder, jumping out of an airplane, actually.
I tried, and here's what happened. This was years ago. And basically the first jump in those days, they wanted you to you had to get strapped to somebody else. Right. And so basically these guys that were, I don't know what you call them, the experienced skydivers looked at me and like, you're not strapping him to me and jumping out of an airplane. I was like, well, that kind of tells me that maybe this is not the right time to do that. If the guy that's supposed to look out for my well-being doesn't want me strapped to him, I'm good for the moment. So what did I do? I couldn't end that way. So I went and I bungee jumped. That was the next best thing. And it scared me to death. I can't even tell you. I was jumping down, and as I'm going down, I hit the bottom. One of my shoes, the thing snugged up, popped one of my shoes off. So I'm going back up thinking that I'm not connected on one of my legs anymore. And I am flipping out. It was, I'll tell you, it was talk about getting outside your comfort zone. That was it was good. Looking back, of course, I was well hooked. I wasn't loose, but I believed that I was only hooked by one leg for that.
Arnie, I've bungee jumped too, man. I haven't jumped out of an airplane, but I bungee jumped because I'm afraid of heights, John. Like I'm afraid of heights. So, but what I tried to do as a young man to alleviate that fear was bungee jump. Well, it didn't work, but I still did it, and I can appreciate your comments on scared that SHITT out of me, but I did it. Dude, I went and spent 3 days and 4 nights in a shark cage with the great white sharks in Australia. That wasn't scary to me. So, I was in the bottom of the ocean with sharks screwing around me, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. But the hell, jumping out of an airplane, man. Nope, no thank you. Hoodlow popping in with, okay, I stopped scuba diving because I had a bad accident. Oh, my point, sometimes it is not about fear, it's about family responsibility. Need to consider these things. That's a great point, Hoodlow. I can't argue with that, especially as we age. We maybe we make different decisions because we're scared of what could happen, and we want to be around to take care of our children. So I can appreciate that, Hoodlow, that sometimes we have to make different choices because of the different stages we are at our life. And I know, Marty, I've talked to Lauren about a few things. She's like, no, I think now that I'm a mom, I'm not going to do that now. I'm like, all right, I can respect that. Right. So yeah. I
still don't have any kids. So I've done some crazy stuff.
Yeah. That's for Thursday's show. Thursday's show with C. Marty Fit, Christopher Martin, the crazy shit that Marty's done. Number 3 and number 4 coming up before we flip it, Jim, into the C. Marty Fit tip, the Business Athlete Manifesto. Number 3, gentlemen, this is an obvious one, but again, people don't think about it. And unless you're thinking about it daily, it's not going to happen. You need to strive for continuous improvement, because if you don't, you're standing still. So again, I go back to something Anderson said about half an hour ago. If you're bending over to pick up a pen today, you can continuously improve by hanging out for 2 more seconds. No, it's as simple as that.
You're
because
absolutely
if you hang
right.
out for 2 more seconds, you're going to be able to touch your toes by the end of the week, right? So always look to improve yourself. Again, a common sense thing, but I think Johnny, Marty, often overlooked, most often neglected, because like, oh, I'm good at this. Why do I got to get better at it?
A lot of people have that mindset.
Yeah.
Like I had someone in the gym today, like, why do I need to do extra? I look good already. Okay.
That's what I love, the power of lifting weights though. Anderson, looking at you, because you do 2 plates, you're doing 225 on the bench, and you're going, okay, can I do more? And then you walk on over and you pick up that little flimsy 2.5 pound weight. And you're like, really? And you're like, yeah, Bilous, go do it. You put the 2.5 on each side, 2.5 on each side, and you're thinking it's like 5 pounds is nothing. But then you can't do it.
Yep.
That's like oh my goodness, I'm unable to do that. But then you keep trying for 2 weeks and then you do it. That to me is the metaphor of continuous improvement. A pound here, a pound there, right? So number 4 on the Business Athlete Manifesto, Marty, before we jump over to the Marty's fit tip, which is, and this one, I know you guys are all about this as well, because Anderson, I know you built a career on this. I did as well. And I know Marty did as well. Be the hardest worker in the room.
Yes.
Oh man. And there's something to that as well. When you can walk into a room and you know that if push came to shove, you will go to the mat harder and faster than the next guy. And the thing is that generally speaking, someone can look at you and they know.
Yes.
Yep.
That's why when you walk into a room, you get a certain reaction. Like my wife is always like, man, I love to just sit back and watch, how the other males, kind of slowly settle into their spot, when they were peacocking, you walk in and everybody starts tucking their feathers away. And that's not what I'm about. It's not like I'm trying to put anybody in their spot, but that'll even happen to me. There's a few people I know, and I'm as much as I don't like it, I know that they actually have given more than me. And so as it's like, no, it's the truth. There's only a couple people on the planet that I can look at and say, and I'm happy I'll take my feathers and start tucking away out of respect. But in most cases, it just happens out of like, I don't know what you call it, like primal instinct.
Yes. 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 Yeah, I hear you. Hoodlow jumps in with work and dress for the job you want, not the one you have. Well said. Well said. And I'll speak to, again, if you're taking care of yourself physically, I know we're all about longevity and lifestyle. Typically, if you're living a lifestyle of longevity, your physique is probably going to represent that.
Yes.
And if your physique is representing that, you can throw on a nice t-shirt, a nice pair of jeans, and you're going to look like a bazillion bucks.
Yep.
Never mind worrying about the Armani suit. Nothing wrong with the Armani suit, but that's the ultimate flex. When you're 50, 55, 60, walking into a room with a great healthy physique, that is the ultimate flex.
And, brother, on that level, I think what people tend to not realize is that we as people, we can have status in multiple venues in our lives. We can have status because we're financially really well off. We can have status because we basically live our lives to look, a certain way. We can have status because we've got successful relationships with families and kids and wives. There's all of these different statuses that you can achieve by living your life in a certain way. And I think what people tend to realize is, oh yeah, I make all this money, and that's they hang their whole existence on that single status.
Yeah.
Now the killers, and I say killers is a good thing. The people that are really crushing, their status is laid across their life. They're successful in all areas of their lives. So if you're still thinking that, making a lot of money is what makes you a man, that's not what your kids and your wife think. Your kids and your wife, they love the fact that you're taken care of financially, but they want to see that guy that doesn't make an excuse. They want to see a pillar of consistency. They want to see a person they know they can count on when the shit hits the fan.
That's exactly it. That's absolutely it. I rightly or wrongly, Marty, John, and John, I'm going to be curious about you, and actually Marty, you too, but I look at my peers around me and I'm proud of who I am and how I represent my peers. And if you want to use the word compete, we'll use the word compete. But I look at my peers in my age group around me and I'm like, I want to be in better shape than you. I want to, because if I can show you, then maybe you'll try to be like me. I don't know. It's maybe a goofy mindset, but I look around my peers at the hockey rink, John Anderson, and I'm like, oh yeah, you need to get to the gym, man. Oh no, you need to touch your toes, right? Because you don't want to call it out and be negative about it, but I do look at my peers. I absolutely look at my peers, and I'm all about that all the time. So Marty, you too?
Top 1% in my age group.
Yes. Yeah.
That's I stand on that.
Yes.
And the crazy part about this, Keith, is I'm the same way. Of course, I look at other people my age. I thought, man, but my thought is you just don't understand how easy it can be with the proper information and a little bit of habit stacking.
Yes.
It's like you can create 3 habits and stick those into your life that don't take more than 30 minutes of your day, and you will change your existence.
That's a great point. It's not as much as people think it is.
No,
just,
you got to
small
focus on the right
step to make
stuff.
that lifestyle change. Yep.
Yes, 100%.
People that pay attention to me in the show know I've used the Peloton platform for a number of years, and I don't want to keep beating on it, but there's some programming in that platform that just changed so much for me, and it weaves back into since I met John about this habit stacking and snacking. And I'm going to share with you the power of 10 minutes. Like, man, there's many times, guys, where I'm like, I don't want to do yoga for 30 minutes, but I got to do it because so you know what I'll do? I'll take a 10-minute yoga. I'm like, oh, it's already done? Then I'll do another one. Oh, geez, I can do 10 more minutes. Next thing you know, I've done 30 minutes. And it's incredible when
yes. Oh my God. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is like, okay, so this is another tactic that is so powerful. It's called your 1 minute. Like you're already well down the pipe of a successful dude. So 10 minutes seemed like an easy non-negotiable for you.
Yeah.
For anybody that doesn't feel like they've got that, you got a 1 minute non-negotiable. Like, let's just say that you want to brush your teeth and you want to start going for a walk every day. Perfect. 1 minute. You have to do 1 minute every day, which means you get outside the front door, you could literally count to 60 as you're walking. But the odds are by the time you get to 55, you're thinking, shit, maybe I'll do another minute.
Yes.
So what we need to really focus on is cultivating these simple non-negotiables in our lives that basically turn out to be these wonderful habits because we cultivated them in a way where you wanted to do them.
Yes. So easy when you add, we as humans waste so much time throughout the day and within an hour. Like you think about 60 minutes, long time. Yeah. We waste so much time when 60, you can easily find 5 for yourself. You absolutely can. There's actually no reason you can't find 5 for yourself, not for your kids, not for your employer, but 5 for yourself every 60. There's no reason you can't.
No reason at all. If you can't, you need some serious help with time management.
Yeah, true story. True story. Hey, Marty, it's time to do this, pal. Oh, this one here.
Oh, no.
That's the one, Marty.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Let's do it. All right, we got the fitness tip for the day. Let's get into it. When fitness is a true priority, you'll always find a way to make it happen. It's not about having the perfect conditions or enough free time. It's about making your health and well-being a non-negotiable part of your life. Staying committed to your fitness journey is all about prioritizing what truly matters. When you do, you'll find that sticking to your goals becomes a natural part of your lifestyle. Remember, your dedication today is the foundation for a healthier, stronger tomorrow. Put the work in today, you won't regret it later. That's the fitness tip for today.
That's the fitness tip of today. It's such a simple one, but man, is it powerful. And again, our purpose with this show, Nation, 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Pacific, is to help you guys get your day going, give you guys some nuggets of information, habit stacking ideas. I know you have time today to touch your toes, Nation. I know you do. I know you have time to do some burpees. I know you have time to go for a walk. You got to put it into the schedule and get it done.
Absolutely.
Right? We are continuing the conversation of the Business Athlete Manifesto. We've gone through 1 through 5 here, which is prioritizing wellness, embracing curiosity and adventure, strive for continuous improvement, be the hardest worker in the world. In the room, we're coming up with number 5, and John mentioned this earlier, with your family and with yourself and with your colleagues and everybody else. Show up and be consistent. Show up and be consistent. The power of showing up, just getting into the gym, getting into your space. When you do that, magic will happen, because the easy choice is not to do it. Boys, yesterday, so John, it's funny because the decision for yesterday was for me to ride the bike yesterday, but I had a crappy morning on the show. You know what I did instead? I didn't take the easy route. I went towards what I didn't want to do, which is go for a run.
Yes.
Because to me, that was how to show up. Because the easy route, guys, was get on the bike, let my mind percolate and beat me up. The best thing to do was to run towards what I hate, be consistent, and show up when I went for a run. So it was a changing of the mindset, but I did it because it was harder.
Yeah,
right. So
100%. Yeah, and this kind of goes back to the idea of that when things go, let's say they're challenging. I hate to use the word bad, but if it's not a problem, it's an opportunity. It's a challenge. But if you run into a challenge that kind of whoops your butt, look at yourself as, okay, this is an opportunity for me to get better, not an opportunity for me to self-sabotage. Don't run for a candy bar. Like if Heath he could have played it the wrong way. He could have got up, he could have turned this thing off and whipped out that big peanut butter cup.
Yes.
Said, I'm going to bury my sorrows in this. And that's what too many people are doing. So you're taking this something that's a challenge, which is really an opportunity to get better. And you're using a self-sabotaging behavior to soothe yourself, which doesn't really, it appears to soothe you. It just takes you deeper into your hole, but you don't know it until you swallow the last bite of whatever you're stuffing into your mouth.
Exactly. And while I'm eating it, I'm feeling great. And those seconds while I'm eating, I'm feeling great. But then 5 or 10 minutes later, I'm going, really? I'm looking at the empty package. I'm feeling regret. I'm feeling crappy. I'm mentally beating myself. I'm actually no further ahead of the moment at all.
Yep. It's just a miniature escape is all it is.
Exactly.
And then you come back and you're like, oh man, what did I do? I just made this worse. And some people, they're using this. We just talked about food. Other people are using substance. Other people are using alcohol. Other people are using porn. You name it. But you remember, everything is an opportunity to get better if you so choose to act accordingly.
There you go. There you go. Next one up, guys, in the manifesto is I love these ones coming up here because these ones are very human. Be obsessively kind and show empathy. Man, we talked about, my journey at ICUC and my journey as a leader. The moment I learned, and I'm going to be vulnerable with you guys. I had to go through divorce. I had to go through some difficult times in my life to learn about empathy. I had to learn how to be empathetic. I had to learn how to be an empathetic leader. But the moment that I started learning how to embrace that tool set, the moment that I learned how to care about you, Marty, and care about you, Johnny, and I'm going to admit this, man, it took me a long time to figure it out. I'm not going to, there's a lot of guys going, empathy, Bilous, what are you talking about? Trust me. When you learn empathy, it is the ultimate superhero, man, the super skill. And then when you tap on this idea of being obsessively kind, just neurotically worrying about Marty, neurotically worrying about Johnny and being kind to them, because the world is so not kind these days, man. If you live a life of obsessive kindness and obsessive empathetic leadership, you're going to be ahead of everybody else instantly.
And a lot of times people don't know how to digest that. When you just say something positive, out of the blue, I'm a big one on spreading positivity. So you're going to hear me say, I'm sending positive vibes your way in all sorts of weird situations.
Yes.
And sometimes people look at me like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? What's he trying to get out of me? What I'm trying to get out of you is some of that positive stuff that's stuck down, under the Cheetos you just ate or whatever it was.
Yes. Yes. Marty, here's the next one. The next one on the list of the Business Athlete Manifesto. These are published for us to share with the world and for you guys to consider embracing. Put humans first. Obsess over your customers. Obsess. Just obsess over them. Because if you obsess over them and you're just dedicated to meeting their needs, they're going to love you for life. And I don't think enough companies, enough people obsess over their human they're working with, or obsess. I love the word obsess because when you obsess about something, most people don't, you're going to be ahead of everybody else. Obsess over your customers and put that human first next to you. Marty, John.
I agree.
Obsession is one of those things where people tend to look at obsession as in many cases, a negative word. And it's only because you're looking at the people that have become obsessed with things that are not healthy for their lives or their families. If you obsess with something positive, you obsess with constructive behavior, that's going to change your life and the people around you life. But all of a sudden you start to obsess about something that's not making your life better. It's going to not only affect you and the ones you love. So you got to realize the word obsession, it's got a little bit of a bad, hint to it, only because too many people get obsessed to the wrong stuff.
Well said, John. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And then the last one, Nation, the last point on the Business Athlete Manifesto is this. And this is, last but definitely not least. Lead with love, support, empowerment, and encouragement. Again, I know very basic to some, maybe very cliche, but in my experience, often very difficult for many to do. Lead with love, support your fellow human, encourage them, and then most importantly, empower them to fly. And then even most importantly, when they fall or stumble, be around to love them, catch them, and prop them up again. And if you do that with your humans around you, man, you're going to cultivate a strong, empathetic team, business. I cannot encourage you just to, and that's something I've learned as I've grown as a leader, use love first. And I'm not talking about the rom-com stuff, but lead with your heart, lead with empathy, lead with looking at John and Marty and understanding what their needs are, and then just empower the hell out of them. Gentlemen?
Oh, no, that's great, because I think the easiest thing to do is kick someone when they're down.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you've ever been down and someone kicks you, there's no worse feeling. So I think that's big.
Well, especially, Marty, because I know when you've stumbled, I know that you know. So why the hell do I want to beat you up?
Exactly. Like, I feel it the most. So you reminding me that I fell serves no purpose.
I go back to with my son playing hockey, Johnny. I know when he's had a bad game. I know when he's had a bad shift, but you know what? So does he.
Yep.
he does not need to hear from me that, oh, yeah, you had a bad game, you had a bad shift. No, he's actually telling me, just like he said to me yesterday, Dad, let's forget about it, move on.
Yeah, life goes on.
You know, when you actually make a habit of encouraging people to fail, it's going to take what you've talked about and kind of wrap a lot of stuff together. And then once they do fail, you know, you help them up, you dust them off and say, perfect, look what we learned. Let's do it again, but just a little different than the last time. I'll meet you up where either you're going to fall again or we're going to have some success, but either way, we're good. Yep. And by doing this, it's almost like all of what you talked about gets wrapped into one. People are not used to hearing the support of failing. And I love to simplify. So I'm thinking to myself, all that stuff is great, but hell, I can't remember all the check marks or what they were, but I tell you, I can summarize it all by encouragement of failure.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. And Successful MD drops in with amen. You're absolutely right. So, Nation, we've just spent the last half an hour digging through the Business Athlete Manifesto, the principles that I stand on, the principles that we built the lab around. And again, a quick recap. Prioritize wellness. Take care of yourself first. Be selfish. It's not selfish when you're living longer to help your kids and enjoy your kids and enjoy your grandkids. That's not selfish. That's called being responsible. So prioritize your wellness. Embrace your curiosity and adventure, because trust me, as you go through life, you're going to lose it. Embrace it. Strive for that continuous improvement. Man, when you're brushing your teeth, do some calf raises. When you drop your pen, hang out for 2 more seconds longer so you can touch your toes. Those seem so obvious, but you don't do it. Strive for that continuous improvement. Be the hardest worker in the room. Show up knowing you're the hardest worker. And if you're not, ask yourself how you can become one. Show up all the time, Nation. You don't got to be the most talented. I sure as hell ain't. But I've built a career on showing up and being consistent, and people notice that because most people do not show up consistently. So if you're going to do it, you're going to be standing out from everybody else. And here's some other things that if you're doing these things, people are going to look at you like, who are you? Be obsessively kind. Put your humans first. Lead with love, support, empower, and encourage. And as John said, encourage the failure. And then when somebody fails, you surprise them by empowering them and wrapping your arms around them. They're going to say, who are you? And they are going to eat out of your hand, not in a negative way, but eat out of your hand as a leader. And that's how you form culture with teammates. So
absolutely.
There's your Business Athlete Manifesto today, Nation. So as you're starting your day, I hope some of these words make you feel positive. And I will invite you. Perhaps you want to consider your own manifesto. Perhaps you want to take as a leader, you write down your thoughts, publish them for your team, publish them for your company. Look beyond the values, look beyond what's important to you, write them down and say, hey, team, this is what's important to me. Let's live them. Watch the magic happen. So there's our dudes. We've been at this for 90 some odd minutes this morning. Great conversation. Dug into a little bit about part 2 of my story. Marty asked me some questions about that. We talked about stretching, talked about habit stacking. We talked about, taking care of ourselves. We talked about the manifesto. We've had a full show here today, guys. We spent a couple of days digging into my story, and tomorrow we're going to continue the conversation about getting you guys to know us here in the lab. We're gonna tune into more of John Anderson's story, and I suspect John might vulnerable with us tomorrow as well. So, gents,
absolutely.
Good show today, guys.
Oh yeah, great
Thank
show,
you, brother. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of good conversation today here. I got a conversation here from, we got Lady Drew Boger. Great advice. Staying focused on the present helps us learn from the past and build a better future. You are right. We got Tommy, our Mornings in the Lab community manager out there on the LinkedIn feeds, commenting and engaging everybody. And he brings another comment here that Lady Drew Boger, stretching before and after exercise is crucial for maintaining flexibility and preventing injuries. It's a small step that makes a big difference. Thanks for the important reminder, Tommy from Team Mornings in the Lab. And Nation, if you're on LinkedIn, go to the Mornings in the Lab page. Please follow it, like it, engage with Tommy. His purpose, guys, is to help us get to 1,000 followers on LinkedIn, and he's out there rocking and rolling and help you guys achieve your goals here. So, guys, let's wrap it up, man. I'm going to go it's leg day for me, so I got some leg lifts coming up. Johnny, what do you got in the gym today, pal?
I'm doing arms.
Nice.
It's an easy one, but that's part of the thing. I've got to have. It's got to be ebb and flow, so yes. Some are going to be, when I say easy, I still work hard, but they're not such big muscles that it completely whoops my ass.
There you go. Marty, what do you got going on in the gym, pal?
I got back day, big back day.
You got big back day, buddy.
Big back day. Yeah.
There you go. Looking
forward to it.
All right, Nation. Well, listen, we're going to get out of here. We're going to head to the gym. And if you haven't taken care of yourself today, I invite you to do that. Stop what you're doing. Go do something. Go touch your toes. Go for a walk. Go do a burpee. Go do a push-up. Sarvina, thanks for jumping in this morning. Congratulations to you and your great news. Samir, thanks for jumping in this morning as well. Enzo, as always, my friend, love having you here on the show. It's folks like yourself that make the fun, make this show as fun as it is. Tommy, thanks for doing a great job there in the feeds. Jimmy, producer Jimmy, thank you. Hoodlow, thanks for joining us. Shah, Mojave, Deuce, Kay's Confessions. We got a bunch of folks joining us this morning. Thank you all for tuning in tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on YouTube, X, LinkedIn. Mornings in the Lab, 8 o'clock Eastern time, the show that gets your day started. Guys, we're going to get out of here and go and get the rest of our day on. John, we'll talk to you later. Marty, talk to you later.
Right on.
Sounds good.
All right, boys. We'll see you later.
See ya.